Good morning, everybody. It's How. As the Vice Minister of Science and Technology, leaders of the NANG, leaders of other provinces, dear colleague from Ireland, Ambassador Kate Moran, honorable guests, I chose to speak to you a little bit this morning about ideas and about how we can implement them, how we can take these wonderful ideas that we have into action. And what is the role of the government in promoting these kind of ideas? So you all know this big, here is quite big, I mean in reality it's much smaller, USB drive, which we all use for many years already to transfer information from one computer to another. It's already a very basic device. But it started as an idea. Somebody felt the need to move information from computer to computer when the emails were not sufficient by size, when it was difficult to carry big computers from place to place. And CDs were already old-fashioned. Somebody said, I wish I could have something in the size of a key in my pocket that could take all the information that I need wherever I go. This was the idea. The idea was great, it was strange, it was revolutionary. People thought it's impossible, I would say, impossible kind of idea. But it turned into this kind of product that we all know. By the way, very proud to say it is an Israeli invention. So the USB drive is an Israeli invention. It was an idea, it was developed and implemented to the benefit of everybody, the whole world. I want to speak a little bit about the Israeli human capital. This is our resource. Israel, located in the Middle East, we are very much lack of resources. We don't have water, we don't have rivers, like in Vietnam, we don't have rain. Our soil is very bad for agriculture. And we don't have any other kind of resources that some of our neighbors have, like oil or gas. So our resource is the human resource. We have the highest percentage, we're very proud to say we have the highest percentage of PhDs in the world. We have the highest ratio of engineers and scientists per capita in the world. We have 135 engineers and scientists per every 10,000 people, which is more than the Americans with 85 per 10,000, or the Japanese, who are the second and the third in the world. They have 75 scientists per 10,000. We are ranked number one on the researcher concentration by Bloomberg. And for the last decade, we have 8 scientists who won and became the laureates of Nobel Prizes in chemistry and in economy. That's why we have many ideas that are emerged in Israel. Why we are like that? I want to share with you a little bit about Israel. This guy here is an Israeli Lego figure. So the Israelis are not afraid to fail. We believe that failure is a necessary part of success. If you fail once, you will learn a lot from your failure for the next time. If you succeed at the first time, it's of course great for you, but it means that maybe you were lucky. But what can you learn from your success? You can learn much more from your failures. Also, we believe that we can do anything. It's kind of a self-conviction. We believe that everything is possible. If you have an idea, if it looks strange to you, or weird, or impossible, it can be right. If you have an idea, and you will work hard enough to implement it, it will come true. This is a very strong conviction that we have, that everything is possible. Sometimes it creates a lot of frustrations indeed, However, it creates many successes as well. We question anything. We do not accept anything as it is. If somebody tells us about this is the reality, we cannot fully trust it. We have to check ourselves. Even if sometimes if my boss will tell me what to do, I will ask him about the, let's say, the idea or the reasons behind it, which is sometimes looks a bit strange, but for our society is very common. So we challenge everything and we challenge everyone, and therefore we examine the realities all the time. We think global. We think global simply because we are a very small country. All of us, 8 million people. We are smaller than the population of Hanoi alone. And the market, the Israeli market, is very small. That's why our companies, our startup companies, they have to think global and cannot usually think of the local market because it's simply not big enough. And when you have to think global, you become global, your mind can aim at international markets. And of course, the last, I would say, quality, we are very, very curious. And I think that we are talking about all these Israeli characteristics. I think that you as Vietnamese, you can find it maybe very familiar. I think, and this is my belief since I arrived here less than 1 year ago in Vietnam, I have learned that the Vietnamese characteristics are extremely similar to the Israeli ones. So I think that when I describe here the Israelis, to much extent, I describe the characteristics of the Vietnamese. Furthermore, why we became so innovative as a society? It's as a matter of necessity. We simply didn't have a choice. When my grandparents came to Israel, everything was desert. They had to grow food for themselves so they can have something to eat. But how can you grow food on desert? You don't have enough water. And look at the soil here. It's a desert, it's a sand, if you can see the picture. It is simply sand. So how you grow food on sand without water? You do, because you don't have any other choice. So you find a solution. You find a way to save water. You have to get very creative, because if you will not be creative, you will not survive. So this is simply a survival kit for our forefathers. They tried hard with help of Jewish scientists from all over the world who helped them. They find all kinds of solutions. And this became a trend. You see that when you have no choice, when they throw you to swim in the deep water, you simply have to swim. So you start swimming, even if you didn't know how to swim before. So as we saw that our creative and our innovative ideas bring life, bring achievements, bring more than survival, it became a national habit for us. So in Israel, everybody tried to invent something for their own good, for their own economic success. So the trend is to find a new idea, another idea, successfully, successfully, while you also contribute to society and to the humanity in large. Another characteristic about the Israelis is the diversity. You can see the pictures behind me. We have all kinds. We have people who came from Europe. We have people who came from Africa. We have people who came from Asia. We have Jews, we have Arabs, we have Druze. We have all kinds of people in our society. Our society is very diverse, and it means that they came from different backgrounds. And different backgrounds create different ways of thinking about the same idea, different ways of thinking, and different ways of thinking, hence the variety of ideas. So that's bring for a variety of ideas, and when two people from different backgrounds speaking about their ideas on the same method, it brings usually wonderful results. So this is another element. So this is a little bit about our society's ideas, why they're thriving in our society, and how to take it into implementation. So, Israel today has more than 5,000, already almost 6,000 startups and more engineers, as we mentioned, per capita than anywhere else in the world. The city of Tel Aviv is ranked second only to the Silicon Valley in total number of startups. Just to give you the exact number, the statistics. In Tel Aviv, for every 290 residents, there is one startup company. Okay? That's the ratio. It's an unbelievable ratio. Israel is ranked second on innovation pillar globally out of 138 economies. And Israel, therefore, enjoy more than 300 multinational R&D centers. They're located around the country. You can see is the illustrated map of the country. Some samples of these 300. We have Intel and Google and Siemens and Huawei from China and Motorola, Yahoo, LG from Korea, Apple, IBM, Microsoft, Facebook, Samsung, Sony, others. They all have their R&D centers, big R&D centers in Israel. In some of them in small towns like Haifa, which is a town like Danam, the same size of Danam. This is just to illustrate a few of the Israeli inventions. I'm not going to go over all of it, but just to give you a few. One of them is the chat. The function of chat, text messages as we know it, were invented by Israeli young startupists. You should know that what we are now, we enjoying, we all know WhatsApp and many other functions, all based on the first ICQ chat that is invented in Israel and bought by billions, or then maybe hundreds of millions of dollars at a time by large companies. Another amazing invention, which is rather new, is what you can see here, the Argo Medical. This is a revolutionary invention in the field of health. We are talking about a suit, kind of robotic suit that people can wear on them, and it can use them as legs, meaning for the paralyzed people or disabled people who cannot walk. Today they have to use wheelchairs. So this is the next generation of wheelchair. This enabled them to wear this kind of suit and to walk with their legs. So think how unbelievable contribution this can be to the world, and this is already operational. Another invention from the field of hardware is the Keynote. I'm sure many of you, not me, but I'm sure that many of you are playing computer games like the Xbox or the PlayStation, right? Using Keynote. This sensor moving of the people who can play with a computer, this is also an Israeli invention. And many more. I invite you all to the first floor here today of this conference. In the first floor there is an exhibition that we prepared for you to demonstrate all kind of, or some demonstration of Israeli innovations and new ideas, contribution to the world. So how come we can produce more startups than India, more than the United Kingdom, more than the Koreans or the Indians? One of the main reasons, one of the important reasons that I want to speak about and emphasize today is the Israeli unique ecosystem to support these startups. And this ecosystem is about a triangle of the government, the academia, and the private sector. In short, it means that when the private sector, the startups, companies as yourselves, are cooperating with the academia, with the scientists, if they do that, they will gain support from the government. And how it's done? It's done by a variety of ways. One basic way is funding, of course, providing money. That's what we all need. The first stages and the later stages for the company to grow, to be successful. Taking this idea into implementation, we need money, and this is one of the ways. Another way is by actions, and I will demonstrate one example later on to conclude my presentation today about one action of the government that is done not necessarily with direct money support. All kind of regulatory work, regulations that can support the startups. Wherever there is a way to assist the startup, the regulation will move forward. And by all kinds of incentive programs. So I do not expect you to read this slide behind me. So don't make this effort. But this is just a list of few incentive programs that is being provided by the Israeli government and by its arm, which is called Innovation Authority. We established an Innovation Authority just for the purpose of assisting startups to grow and to be successful. So these are few ideas, also ideas of incentive programs. I just want to introduce you one. The third one on the right is an incentive program called NOFAR. So NOFAR program, for example, just random example, is giving funds to researchers, to scientists that are convincing the committee, the authority, that their development on the first stages has some commercial potential, serious commercial potential. If, as scientists, they are convincing about the commercial potential of their invention, which, by the way, the encouragement is to think, for those scientists, to think commercially. So if they think they have potential, they will gain support to develop their research further, and later on they will probably use another incentive idea to make it, really make it commercial. And just to conclude my presentation, I want to show you how the government can also work by actions. So here behind me you can see in this picture the new cyber security park in Israel. It is located in a small town called Beersheba. Beersheba is a regional town in Israel located in the center of the Negev desert. If you can carefully look into this picture, you see this behind this picture of just a normal industrial park. You can see behind the hills, they are all completely desert. There's nothing there, absolutely nothing. Inside you can see a little bit more trees that I can tell you that are hardly growing there. And in between the trees, you can easily see just sandy. You see this area? It's very, very sandy. And this place was really desert and deserted. There was nothing much going on there. Even the camels didn't want to go there because there is not enough food for them there, you know. So this park was developed by the decision of the government. The government of Israel decided that the capital of the cybersecurity, which is a very advanced sector in Israel, will be Beersheba town. Why? In order to develop this kind of place, exactly. The one thing the government did was to make this kind of decision. By that decision, she created a park, she gave fantastic benefits to those who want to establish their cyber companies on this park, and strongly encouraged companies from Israel, and then later on joined by many international companies to locate their businesses just there in this park. The second thing the government did on this regard is to take the center of the unit, of the military technical unit command, and to move them there. With the army, by the way, it's very easy to move the army to another place. You just tell them, move your base there, and they are moving. So it's very easy to do. And these two decisions created an amazing thing here in the town of Beersheba, which I recommend all of you to visit when you come to Israel. What is good for that? I mean, what was before in Beersheba was a good university. But the problem was that the university, the people came as students to the university, stayed there for the degree, and when finished, they went back to the Tel Aviv area. So the thought was, how can we maintain them to stay in this town after they graduate from university? That's why, well, that was the decision of the government to establish a continuity. So now this cyber park is located just Another one. This cyber park is located located in the center of Beersheba, just next to the military compound. So the military compound here, you have the park there, you have the university there, and the train station connecting. Why is it good? Why is it good for the university? For the university, it boosts for cyber studies further. So now this university became an amazing study hub for cyber studies. People are coming there from all over the world, including, by the way, from Vietnam. It creates further attractions to students, and it creates a very good connection to the multinational corporations, companies there, to the industry. Why is it good for the industry to be located there? Of course, it is cheap. There is an academic hub next door, and huge clients. As you see, the IDF, the military, just there. So the clients, the big client is there. It is very attractive to work there. How about the military? Why is it good for the military to go there? One, it is near to all this action. Secondly, it doesn't matter. We don't ask the army. We just move them there, right? So they are there, and they, by just moving there, they create the growth. Why is it good for the city? I think this is obvious. It brings to the city a lot of excellent and high quality people, and let's create other working places. It creates culture scene, theaters, cinemas, restaurants, and it is simply great news for the city. And why is it good for the country? For the country it's good because it took this city which was lagging behind and push it fast forward. So this is just one example that I wanted to bring here today. And I want to conclude my words that from idea to product, there is a long, very long way. Those who came with the idea, they really need a lot of help. And governments can, governments should help. And I think that we can see here in Danang a very fine example of how it's done, that the government elevate those who started this here by the incubator of DNES, which is a very impressive sample of how government can help the sector. Thank you very much for your attention.